Today, we're going to talk about our leveling system, guys. We've been traveling around for several months now with our level system not quite working correctly. But today, we're going to fix that problem. Come on. Hello and welcome back. If it's your first time here, I'm Scott.
And I'm Allison.
And we are
Jarhead and Ginger's Journey.
We're full-time RVers. We do destination videos, tips and tricks, and all things RV. That sounds like something you'd like. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and come along on our journeys. On our travels last summer, we got to a specific campsite. I don't remember actually which one, it's been so long ago. And we went ahead and hit auto level on our 6-point auto level system, and it errored out. I went in, I reset it, and I did it again, and it still errored out. Okay, I know all of the system works because I can use my phone and level up the system probably in about 5 minutes. So that's why it hasn't been such a priority for me to get this done. However, there's one thing that it can be, and it's the rear sensor. There's two sensors in a 6-point level system. One is in the front, one is in the rear. It's a little box about this big that tells the system if it's level or not. So I'm gonna have to crawl under tonight or today, get the underbelly pulled down and see if it's the sensor or if it's just out of position. There could be a few things going on here. That rear sensor can be off of the bracket and just dangling there so it can't tell the system when it's level. It can have some problem with the wiring, cut wires or broken wires, or it can possibly just be completely unplugged. You know how these things are going down the road, guys. So we got to get under this thing, get into the underbelly, find out what's going on so we can figure out the fix. We're going to start with a little bit of prep. Even though we are on this nice concrete slab here, which is one of the things I've been waiting for to actually get this project rolling, I'm going to go ahead and put down our mat here. We normally don't use this thing anyway, but it is a nice little extra added layer of cushion while I'm under here in the underbelly. Also, I'm going right under here because this is the back edge of our underbelly, so I'm going to go ahead and stow these steps first.
Problems. I would never thought that you could be causing these problems. It smells so bright with eyes like these diamonds.
Now that we have the cushioning laid out and the stairs stowed up and out of the way, it's time to grab some tools. Only going to need a few tools to get this underbelly down and see what's going on, so let's go collect them up now. Very simple set of tools we need for today's job, guys. To get the underbelly down, I'm using my impact because it's a little shorter than my regular drill, and I have been under there before where as I'm pulling out a screw, it actually will hit the bottom. So I use this because it's a little bit shorter. Today we're going to use the 3/8" socket because that's what fits the underbelly screws that I have, the self-tapping screws. I'm also going to use this very handy flashlight that I got from my son-in-law's father, and it works really, really well. Very, very bright, so I can get under there. I'm not taking the underbelly all the way down. I'm just going to loosen it enough so I can get in there and look. That's why I need this. And this one I really love. This isn't a must, but this is definitely nice to have when you're down there. Every screw I pull out of there, I'm going to throw in this. As you can see, this is magnetic, so it will hold the screws very nicely. And last but not least, a Sharpie. What the heck do we need a Sharpie for? You'll find out. Stay tuned. Oh, and one tool I forgot to mention, water. Don't forget to hydrate, guys. It's hot out here. Well, we can't put it off any longer, guys, so I guess it's time to crawl under this thing and start working on the underbelly.
Right now you're not alone. I don't wanna get in trouble. See where you stand. I don't wanna see you crumble. To recall what we meant, all the words you never said, all the questions in my head, 'cause you're trouble.
All right, this is the back edge of our underbelly here, guys. So I'm gonna have to take off all of these bolts 3, looks like 5 so far. Okay, and then the bracket for the sensor I'm looking for is supposed to be right here in the middle under the underbelly here. So the plan is to drop this piece, and then I'll be able to peel this underbelly back a little bit, and I'll actually be able to see that sensor. Hopefully it's just unplugged or there's a wire loose. I can plug it back in and we'll be in business. If not, I'll have to replace the sensor. So let's get busy. These self-tappers come out pretty easily. They do get hung up sometimes in this little aluminum channeling. And I like to go from one end to the other and then hold the center here while I pull out the center. That way it's just not dangling all the way down to the ground, and it's less likely that you're going to bend this channel. This channel is only aluminum, and you can see it flexes very easily, so bending this is a real or could be a real issue. Now that we have this down, let's get out from under here and I'll show you what that Sharpie was for. Now that we've got the aluminum strip off, I always use my Sharpie and I will mark which side of this aluminum strip goes where. I'll put rear in the middle because it's the rear of this specific underbelly portion, and then I'll put camping and driver or right and left, whatever you prefer on there. But always mark this, because these holes that you just took those self-tappers out of, they have to go back in the same spot. Otherwise you're going to be drilling new holes, putting new self-tappers in, and the whole 9 yards. Just makes it a whole lot easier, and I learned the hard way when I did my front underbelly section. So that's what I always do with the Sharpie, guys.
Running. Everyone says that I should get going, start running, but how am I supposed to run when I'm falling? I don't wanna get in trouble. See where you stand. I don't wanna see you crumble. To recall what we meant, all the words you never said.
So here's the example. This is my rear trim or aluminum piece for the back section of the underbelly. If I go this way, this says driver, so that's the driver's side of the RV. And if I go clear to the other side, I have this side labeled camping. That way I cannot get this thing mixed up, guys. I am, after all, a Marine, so I do have to make things marine proof, guys. This will do it, labeling your stuff. Now, let's get back under there and see what this sensor looks like. Here we go. I actually just figured out that you can actually see this bracket without even pulling the underbelly down, guys. If this was up in place, you can actually see there the 2 layers of metal. That's the actual bracket that holds the sensor we're looking for. So by first inspection, it looks like it is in place. You can see these 2 bolts here, the same kind of bolts that came off of the underbelly pinning. So that's a good sign that it's in place, and I can put my hand up there and it doesn't move around, so it's in place and solid on the bracket itself. The next thing I have to check is the wiring and the connection. So let me see if I can find that, and we'll get right back to you. The underbelly doesn't have quite enough play here for me to get my hands in there. I found the wiring. It looks fine so far, but I'm going to go ahead and take out a few more of these self-tappers so I can get a little bit more room and get in there to this wiring. If you look over here, this is the very edge right here of my underbelly. I'm going to go ahead and take out a couple of these on each side. This one has this one here and that one there, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and I'm just hoping that gives me enough slack here in the underbelly to get in there and get a better eyeball on that. That's my wire harness there from my sensor. Well, it looks like on this side, which is the driver's side, I really only need to take off one, because the next one that's actually screwed through the underbelly here is at least a foot down. So I lucked out. I'll only have to do one on this side. All right, there we go. We've got those screws down. So now you can see we can actually flex the underbelly down a little bit, and we can get a much better look at these wires. So far, it's looking like all the wires, there's only 3 wires that are coming off of the sensor here. It looks like they're all good. The connection is pretty solid feeling. So I'm afraid that it looks like our actual sensor is going to be bad, guys. Remember earlier I said it can only be a few things. It could be this sensor here is not in position. It would be dangling down here. There could be something wrong with the wires themselves, and I don't see that on either side of the plug. Or it could be that it's just not plugged in properly at the connection. All 3 of those right now seem to be fine. So that leads me to believe that it's probably going to be this sensor. So I'm going to have to undo the connection, take the 2 screws off of the sensor, and get it down and out of here. Once we do that, we'll give it a better inspection, and we'll be able to see the part up close and personal. And yep, we'll get back with you here in a second when we got it out. So there it is, guys, just a small little sensor. You can't really, I mean, there's 2 screws, but yeah, I guess you could get into it, but it's taped over. Highly would not suggest trying to mess around with this until you know for sure that it's bad at the very least. But just running the wires all the way from the sensor out to the connector, all of them look good. I don't see any nicks or any burn marks or any cuts, obviously, anywhere. And then looking at the plug itself, it still looks fairly new, nice and clean, no problems there. Even looking down into the inside of it, the 3 metal prongs there don't appear to have any charring or any issues there at all either. So that being said, I went ahead and ordered a new one of these, and let's bring it to you now. It'll be a while for us, but it'll only be a couple of seconds for you guys. Through the magic of YouTube, guys, we now have our new sensor. Here again is our old one, okay? And this is our new one. Let's get it out of here and make sure it's all the same before we even bother getting back up under this thing to put it in place. It comes wrapped in some nice bubble wrap and a plastic bag here, which is good. I actually ordered this on Amazon, so if you're having the same issues and you think it may be your sensor, there'll be a link down in the show description, and you can check it out. I'm sure there's more than one part number, but at least this will get you in the right area if you think it might be your rear sensor. Our part number is 14022-B, and it does match our old one, so I know this is the correct part I was looking for. Just going to do a quick inspection, because you know you can get things that are brand new out of the package and they are broken and don't work. The plug looks good. No cracks. All three of the things inside are there, and they're not bent or charred or anything crazy like that. Quick look at the wires. Everything appears to be good there as well. And like I said, there's really nothing else to look at or inspect on this thing. I did get a look at these when I was in the NRVTA. When you open these up, you still really can't see anything. It's full. It's called potted, and it's full. They fill it with some kind of resin or gel or whatever that hardens. So basically, you open this and it's hard plastic inside. So all of the circuit board and anything, all of the brain and everything that's in there is covered up with this glue that hardens. So it's either bad or it's good. I guess there's really no in between, guys. So this one looks like it's going to be good, but so did the old one. So we'll go ahead and put this one in, and then we'll test our level system and make sure it actually works before we button up the underbelly. Let's get it done. All right, y'all. Let's get back under there, get this sensor installed. We're not going to button up the underbelly yet. Once we get this in place, plugged in, and secured, we're going to get back out from under this beast, and we're going to go over, reset the system, and run a auto level on it. So first step, let's get this in. This thing says front and rear side, so I want to make sure that the front is facing the front of the RV before I actually screw this back down onto that little bracket. Pretty easy, no big issue there.
Yeah, you're trouble. Yeah, you're trouble. 'Cause you're trouble. Yeah, you're trouble. Yeah, you're trouble.
Well, that was super easy, just the 2 screws. Just hold it down from the top while you screw them in. Don't over tighten, I would say, because it's just plastic. The sensor has just the plastic holes. So just line them up and run the same 2 of these self-tappers back up into those holes, and you've got it in place. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and just do the connections, and then we'll take you in the house and re-zero everything and see if this auto levels. All right, let's go check it out. Since the auto level has been off for so long, our one control has no idea where 0 is. So we have to reset 0 by making sure our RV is completely level. We've been in this site for a couple of weeks now, so I'm just going to check it with the level, make sure we're good to go. If not, I'll go ahead and connect with my app, raise it, or go side to side, however that has to work. I would suggest before you move your RV at this point, if you're at a park, if you're doing this, that you bring at least your Schwintek slides in. We have 2 through frame slides. They're not quite as finicky as our Schwintek or your cable driven slide, but I would definitely recommend at least bring those in, if not all of your slides, before you move your trailer side to side or front to back. I just finished rechecking level. We're fine front to back, right here at the door where I normally always gauge from, and we're fine side to side as well, so we're good to go on that. Let's go on inside and we will reset the one control to 0. Basically, we're going to tell the system that what we're sitting at right now is 0, so hopefully it wakes up that back sensor and they will start talking to each other. We're inside at the one control now. We're going to go ahead and set our 0 so the whole system, including the new sensor, knows where level is. There's a few steps on here, so let's get started. Okay, so we are at the home screen now. The first thing we want to do is hit devices here. Hopefully this is sensitive enough that it actually works for us well today. We'll see. Sometimes we have fits with this thing. We're going to scroll down to hit leveler. There we go. Now here's the trick. You see the word leveler at the top? That, we're going to go ahead and touch that on that word 5 times, and it should bring up a new window. If it doesn't, keep doing it another 5 times until you get it, all right? You saw how it was a little bit hard there. It says, warning, advanced features. Do you want to continue? Yes, we do want to continue because we want to set our 0 point. From there, you can see it says set up 0 point and press enter. So enter. Now it says 0 point calibration. Press enter to set. Just go ahead and press enter again. Now when you press enter this time, you don't want to be jumping around in your RV or anything because this thing is pretty sensitive, and we're setting both sensors to 0. Enter. It says checking stability. Check. 0 point set. That's all it takes, guys. So we'll go ahead and go get back out of here, back to our home screen there, and now let's go outside and run the jacks up and see if we auto level. Alright guys, since we re-zeroed at the 1 control, we went ahead and brought in all of our slides. As you can see here, our bed slide and our main slide on this side are both in. The slide on the other side is in as well. I raised up all of the jacks, so the back 4 are all the way up. And then I also took the front jacks and I brought them up a little higher, just because there's hitch height, and I want hitch height to be high enough when we leave to be able to hook up to the truck. Now let's go over, push the buttons, and hopefully this bad boy auto levels. Now we're here at the auto level control, just outside of our front bay here. This is where we would be when we're setting up at a park every time. We wouldn't normally be inside at the 1 control panel. We would be outside here. So to get this thing to work, we'll go ahead and turn it on with these 2 buttons. The green light comes on, that means it's on, so that's a plus already. We pulled it off the truck already. We would have set the front jacks to the height we wanted, pulled the truck off. The next thing we do now is auto level. That's the middle button. Please keep your fingers crossed for us. Let's see what happens. It's already doing more than it did before, guys. I think we got it figured out. It'll take up to a few minutes to do this, so we'll come back when it's done and show you the results. All right guys, about 30-45 seconds later, and I hope you can see that, but we have a solid green light on the leveling system. That means it is complete. So now the last step for me, I am going to double check, because I don't believe electronics most of the time. I'm going to go back over to the door, check my level, and let you know if it actually worked. But just judging by what it just did, we have fixed the problem. Now let's see if it actually auto leveled. Come on. I'd say that did pretty good front to back. Now let's check it out side to side. Nailed it, guys. After you've completed your auto level and checked or double checked to make sure you're actually level, where I do it, as you saw, is right inside by the stairs. Don't forget, because you're so happy, but don't forget, you still have to crawl under this thing and secure this underbelly back up. We won't put you through this one because you saw it coming off. It's only about 6 screws anyway, back through the little aluminum bracing there. And I'm sure you guys could do that on your own. So there you go. That's the complete rear sensor fix if your LCI or Lippert 6-point leveling system won't auto level out and you've tried everything else and you know it works because you can use it on your phone or by whatever other means that you guys have. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget the link to the sensors down below. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Write a comment down below. Tell me I did things wrong or right, or I'm just ugly, or whatever the case is. And hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when we post our videos. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you next time. Semper Fi, and God bless.
Hey y'all, we are Broken Dreams Reborn.
And we will see y'all next time on Jarhead and Ginger's Journey.
Bye y'all.